Hello and welcome back to my channel. Salut et re-bienvenue sur ma chaîne. My name is Muriel, and in this video I'm going to be doing a little Booktube tag because why not? I will be doing the reading habits book tag this time around, and let's start off with question 1, which is, do you have a certain place at home for reading? Indeed I do. In fact, I have a couple, one of which is the most ridiculously and simply comfortable couch that is placed under my bed. My bed used to be a bunk bed when I was a child, but the bottom bunk was removed later on, so now it's a little reading nook basically, with a bookshelf, an awesome couch, and then a few things. And if I'm not reading there, then I'm probably reading in a settee in the living room, quite simply. Question number 2, bookmark or random piece of paper? I am very serious about my bookmarks. I have a collection of them. I even have some custom-made ones, and they're all neatly packed into this little plastic sleeve. You can see I have a few of them, and I definitely pick a certain bookmark to go with a certain type of book, depending on the image of the bookmark and how I feel it might fit the vibe of the book I'm about to read. So yeah, I take this very seriously indeed. Question number 3, can you just stop reading, or do you have to stop after a chapter / a certain amount of pages? I am definitely a plan your reading kind of person. Before I start a book, I will look at the number of pages, and I will plan out a certain number of pages to read a day in my weekly planner. Yes, I'm a bit of a basket case, I know. But so yeah, I try to reach a certain amount of pages per day. I try and make it so that it corresponds to a chapter ending, or at least a paragraph ending, something like that. Question number 4, do you eat or drink while reading? I don't plan to, in any case. I don't like sit down with my book and prepare in advance a bowl of crisps or popcorn or candies or what have you. Sometimes though, while I'm eating lunch or dinner, I might read at the same time, and I'll generally have a glass of water next to me, but that's just because I drink water throughout the entire day, so it just kind of goes together. But otherwise, no, I don't particularly plan to eat while I'm reading. Though I will say this, I walk while I read, so I can get my steps in. Yes, I do that. I'll just walk back and forth along a certain stretch of carpet and read at the same time. You'd be amazed how many steps I can get in that way. Question 5, multitasking, music or TV while reading? Well, I just mentioned I walk while I read. Otherwise, no, absolutely no television, and certainly no music. I have very sensitive ears. I have a musical ear, no less. If I were to listen to music, I'd be picking out the rhythm, the instruments, or the voices, or the lyrics. No music. Music distracts the hell out of me, and add to that, I'm extremely prone to earworms, so no music at all. I will listen to ambience sound, though. I have a video with like a fireplace burning, or, forest sounds with birdsong. That's very relaxing and calming, but then I also use that to mute sensory stimuli when I have anxiety attacks or I'm depressed. So that really helps with my mental health in general, and that I can do while reading as well, to block out outside sounds, talking, or even music, or even television playing in another room. And that then becomes necessary, actually. Now, the exception I would mention with multitasking are audiobooks, and that to me is the whole point of audiobooks, is to be able to consume a book and do something else at the same time. In my case, that would come down to drawing, or maybe doing something with threads, so textile art, things that don't require your brain to focus on words, if that makes sense. So for example, I cannot write something down if I'm listening to an audiobook, because then I have 2 conflicting verbal thought channels, so that's just no-go. But drawing, textile art, cleaning, walking, of course, that's fine. Question number 6, one book at a time or several at once? Well, if you've been with me for a while, you'll already know the answer to this question, because I mention it all the bloody time. I definitely read more than 1 book a week. I've gone up to 4. That's a bit much for me. I've cruised at 3 a week fairly often, especially last year. So what I'll do is usually I'll combine a novel and a book of nonfiction with a comic book / graphic novel, or perhaps a short story collection. However, the most comfortable formula for me is ultimately 2 books a week. So a novel plus either nonfiction, graphic fiction, or nonfiction, or a short story collection. Definitely never 2 novels at the same time, unless I'm listening to an audiobook as well. That I've done. I've had an audiobook, a novel, and then something else at the same time. That works. That I can manage. Question number 7. Reading at home or everywhere? I don't leave home that much, so reading at home most of the time. Though when I have traveled in the past, I would definitely have a book with me. I've had this formula in my head of like, always take a book with you because you never know if you might need it or not. So yeah, on the tram, on the bus, on the plane, on the train, I've definitely had books on hand, most definitely. Question number 9. Do you read ahead or even skip pages? No! That's a cardinal sin for me. In fact, sometimes, since I have to calculate the number of pages I'm going to read for a certain day, I'll look ahead to where the chapter ends, and I have to avoid looking at the writing on that page so I don't spoil myself. I guess sometimes I just kind of leaf through the book to see how long it's going to last or how much I have left, but I don't actively try to read the ending. My mother does this a lot, and I don't understand how she can do that, so that's kind of funny. Question number 10. Breaking the spine or keeping it like new? Well, I'm going to say it kind of depends on the book. Unfortunately, some books you can't really help but crease the spine because it's bound so tightly. I mean, I hate it when it happens, don't get me wrong, but sometimes I'm like, I can't help it. And then add the fact also I often buy my books secondhand, so they're already a bit, worn out, and that's fine because I'm buying them secondhand. So I don't make too much of a big deal out of it. I'm more bothered by the corners of the front and end pages. Like if they're a bit frayed, that really bugs me. I'll even go so far as to glue them back together. So I like that to look neat. But as to the spine, I mean, I do try and avoid too much bending, but sometimes it's just what it is, especially with paperbacks. Question number 11. Do you write in your books? This has shifted over the years. Well, I mean, varied. I don't go out of my way to write in my books. I will admit that sometimes in a book of nonfiction, especially if I'm certain I'm going to keep it, I will jot down a couple of notes in pencil though, so I can erase it if necessary. So actually, I have even donated a couple of books in which I'd written, but then I had erased everything. So, I was mindful of future owners. Otherwise, I would never write with indelible ink. I mean, I do have a couple of books with a message written because they were gifts. So, I mean, I have an autographed copy of Assassin's Apprentice that I got at a convention, but those obviously are exceptions. I would never write down in a special edition. I'd rather than just slip a piece of paper if I felt it necessary, or yeah. So no, not as a general rule, I don't write in books. Not novels. Sometimes nonfiction, but even then it's pretty rare, especially nowadays. So that was the Reading Habits book tag. Hope you found it interesting, entertaining. I don't know, but I wanted to do it and now it's done. Hope you will take good care of yourselves and that you're all doing reasonably well. I hope you will have a lovely day, evening, whichever time of day you prefer. Next time, hopefully you'll get my dual review for Children of Time and Children of Rin by Adrian Tchaikovsky. But until then, I bid you all farewell. Bye-bye.